Hi, welcome to Golf FM. This is a test to find out if we actually need forged clubs. I've been testing this Callaway Elyte recently and it feels so soft that I'm starting to wonder whether there's actually a need for forged face clubs and forged head clubs. I use a set of I530s and I'm actually interested to feel if this Elyte actually feels softer than my current set of irons, which has a forged face. Forged is generally a term used to describe a club that uses a softer grade of steel. A traditional blade uses a forged head for all of it, so the whole head is forged. And actually Callaway's AI200 and AI300 clubs are all fully forged as well. But a lot of these players' distance clubs, like the I530 and the TaylorMade P790 and that sort of thing, they use a forged face insert. So on the ping it's called C300 miraging steel. So it's very flexible steel, but it's a softer grade, so when you hit it, you get a softer feel. Generally, game improvement clubs, which is what this category is for the Callaway Elyte, use 17.4 stainless steel, and the reason for that is it's stronger and they can make it thinner and therefore even more flexible, and again creates more speed off the face because of that. But the sacrifice you made traditionally was it didn't feel as soft off the face, and that was just a fact of life. If you wanted a forged face, you had to pay a bit extra. You want a forged head, fully forged head, then you need to probably pay even more. But as I've said, I've done a couple of tests and you can have a look at those up there. This Elyte has just amazed me at how it feels. It's a 17.4 stainless steel, but they use something called microspheres in it. And the way they've made this Callaway this year, they've created a little bit more space for the microspheres, so there's more in it than there used to be. But as you'll have seen in some of my other tests, I was blown away by the feel. And they look really good as well. In fact, this catback design almost looks like a player's distance iron. So today I wanted to hit them back to back and see what the performance was like, because actually the lofts are really similar in this. They're both 29 degrees, really strong, I know, for a 7 iron, but that's what they are. And price-wise, there is a difference. You've got about £1,249 for the ping, and about £999 for the Callaways. That's 7 iron set with steel shafts. So perfectly matched. I've got the same shafts in them, the Dynamic Gold Mid 100 S300, and I want to see how they go and what they feel like and what you're paying for anymore, because I'm not sure. In terms of looks, when you put them back to back, yes, the I530 does look a lot more like a traditional blade iron, which a lot of people will like and want that are in the player's distance category. So that's a hollow bodied club that has all the perimeter weighting inside, but has the exterior look of a bladed club. The Callaway doesn't quite look like that, but it's quite similar to a lot of other clubs in the player's distance market. And generally that was a market that had a higher price tag and, as I said, incorporated forged face technology, so it was a little bit softer. But I'm just, as I've said, starting to wonder whether we actually need forged faces anymore when microspheres are available to us. In terms of the top lines and the club size, the Callaway almost looks slightly smaller heel to toe, which generally I would like. I like a more compact head. The top line possibly a little bit thicker on the Callaway, but it's only marginal. It's very close. And offset, very little offset on the Callaway, possibly a fraction more than on the ping. I think the ping's one of the least offset player's distance irons there is, but there's not a lot to choose from, and actually it is more compact, the Elyte, which is amazing when you consider it's in the game improvement category, which is supposed to be all the help you can possibly get from a club, and looks sometimes take a back seat. But I could use that. There's barely any offset on it. Offset's supposed to be for people that miss it right. It helps them a little bit, and generally the lower the handicap, the less they like offset. So yeah, and from that point of view, really, really good, both of them, and not a lot between them. In terms of the soles, the I530 is actually wider, if anything. They've done a lot of work on this, apparently, Callaway, this tri-zone sole where they've rounded it off and sculpted it so it doesn't dig into the turf and it reacts a lot better through the turf. I've been hitting the I530 and I find it absolutely fine in all turf conditions, hard lies, soft courses, everything. But yeah, when I look at that, it almost looks like the I530's got more of a game improvement look even than the Elyte in terms of like the size of it and the length of it. Okay, so I think I'll hit the I530 first and follow that up with the Elyte. I should also mention that the Callaway Callaway have eked the length out a little bit, supposedly, on their clubs, and it's meant to be 37.25 inches for a 7-iron. Traditionally, it's 37. The ping in the manual says that it's 37, but when I put these two clubs together, they're virtually the same length, so I don't quite know what's going on there. But again, at least the test is evenly matched. Right, so I'm going to hit the I530 first, down behind the ball. I'm used to this. It's a nice thin top line, virtually no offset, and the only thing that I wish they would do is make it a little bit more compact. Even if they just went to the length that the Elyte is, I would make me a wee bit more happy with this club. That's the only thing, is it a little bit long for me heel to toe, but I can live with it. I know that it's giving me forgiveness. Certainly in the longer irons, I appreciate that. Right, let's have a go. That was a decent strike, I think. Yeah, that's about what I expect. 176 carry, 187 total, 5,600 spin and 46-degree launch angle, so that's all quite good. Don't usually actually get as much spin as that. The way I hit the ball, I tend to be quite a low spin player. I can get it to spin up if I try and hit like a higher fade or something. I'll get into the 6,000s, 6,500 with that. But when I hit a standard stock shot, I tend to get quite a low spin. And that's actually higher than I would expect. So that's all right. That was a better strike, I would say, than the last one. Don't tell me I'm going to hit 8 good shots in a row. That's how many I'm going to do. Usually it's out of a batch of about 20, if I'm lucky. See, there's the spin down again. 4, 8, 9, 6, and that felt like a good strike. 175 in the air, 190. The descent angle's 44. And the reality of it is I play with these clubs in real life, and I play on firm linksy courses like Gullen and the East Links here at the Glen, and the distance is fine. I can deal with it. See, that's a long way, and I wouldn't expect that to settle down that quickly when it's ending up 190. Decent strike again. Don't know what's going wrong today. I should could swing like that all the time. 178 to 191 again. Spin 5.2, 46-degree descent angle again. Perfectly happy with that. Felt nice, by the way. Did feel nice. A little bit left possibly, that one, yeah. Let's take that out. If you don't know, and there's plenty of videos to watch up there about it, I had a set of Blueprint S before this. I was seduced by the looks, and I had a season with them, and they just kept falling out the air, way short, far too often. You had to middle those clubs to get the distance, and life is so much easier with a set of I530s. So forgiving. They don't lose distance, and that's what forgiveness is about. The minute you don't hit it quite right, it still hangs on to loads of distance. A little bit out the toe, possibly. Not maybe bad enough not to count, we'll see. Yeah, keep it in. See, that's what I mean, that wasn't 100%. It's still got 175, still got roughly the same distance. 5,000 spin, 44-degree descent, still good. A little bit off the bottom, but I would take it on the golf course. Again, 174, 185 ultimately. Spin, okay. 5.6 and 47-degree descent. A little bit thin again. Not terrible, but just a, you know, when you've not quite got it. That went 167 for 181. I tell you what, I'll take that one out because I'll keep in one's just a wee bit better than that. And I will, of course, do that on the Elyte as well. Yeah, probably good enough strike. The feel is really good off these. I think there are actually softer feeling player's distance irons. Like AI200, for example, is softer, but then that whole head is forged. And possibly actually Wilson Dynapower, I think, is slightly softer. 179, 195, lower spin again, but again, 43 descent angles, so it's not that bad. What are we up to? Only got 2 to go. Wow. I'm usually a sweaty mess at this point, having hit 25 shots. Yeah, probably good enough. A little bit shoved out right. 172 in the air. Keep it in. Oh, that was a lovely strike. That felt really nice. So when you get these out the middle, it is a really nice feel. Really soft, powerful feeling. 176, 188. Wow, that was painless. Thanks very much. I don't know how I managed to do that. Only had about 2 that I took out there. Right, so I'll do the Elyte now. And what would be good now is if I hit a really flushed one straight after I just flushed that to see how it feels. So down behind the ball, yeah, it looks a little bit more compact. It's not tiny, it's not really short. So, you know, a higher handicapper's not going to feel like this is too difficult to hit looking at it. You know, sometimes I've heard the comment from, you know, higher handicaps, they don't actually want a really thin top line. They want to see a bit of meat behind the ball so it can give them a bit of confidence and security that there is all this technology trying to help them. So yeah, down behind the ball, thin top line, nice sort of polished look. It's a very attractive looking club, very little offset, and yeah, I could use this. Oh, I did hit that well, and that felt so nice. I mean, my first gut feeling there was, and I hate to say it because I've got a set of the pings, was that felt softer. That's amazing. I did have a feeling it did, and that's why I'm doing this test in the first place. If I didn't think this was at the races in terms of feel against a forged club, I wouldn't be doing this test, but I did. And that was arguably nicer feeling than the ping. And that was hit well. What did it get distance-wise? 181, went further, 5,000 spent a little bit lower, but 45-degree descent, so that's all really encouraging stuff. Yeah, and maybe not as flushed as the last one. Still felt pretty good though. This is like a miracle club. I've never known a game improvement club to feel like this. It was just like you'd write off feel when it came to game improvement clubs. And if they felt okay, it was a bonus. 178 in the air, 190, 5.7 spin, 46-degree launch. Why am I not using these clubs? I mean, this feels so much better than the likes of a 𝐑𝐄𝐼 from TaylorMade, and even a Ping G440 it feels better than, noticeably. I mean, not that they feel bad, they don't, but this just feels like a forged club. It's as simple as that. Every time I hit it, I'm not imagining it. Yeah, it felt nice again. 175 in the air, and a 5.4 on the spin, and 46-degree descent. A little bit off the bottom possibly, but it still felt nice. But for like a low strike, again, that was noticeably nicer than hitting the ping. That's annoying. Should have got them. Nah, I like my pings. I like the way they look. I slightly prefer the look of the ping, personally, to this, but it's a nice looking club from the back as well. So trying to convince myself. 5.7 spin, 46, 176 in the air. Again, pretty good. Oh, feels so nice. So nice. It just feels like you want to just keep hitting it because you've got the potential for it to feel like that. 178, 193. I do think it's going fractionally further. Not a lot in it. We'll see at the end with the figures. That spin was a wee bit low, but I'm capable of doing that on the ping as well. 4.8 and 45-degree descent angle. Again, a lovely strike. A little bit left. Such a nice club. 180, 196. I mean, it's funny because you're saying, well, it's £999 for 7. That's still a lot of money for golf clubs. I mean, golf clubs have just got a bit silly in recent years. But you're saving yourself 250 quid over the ping if you go for these. 5,000 spin, 44-degree descent, 180 in the air. Lovely, lovely feeling shot again. Wow. And it's going a little bit further, so it's obviously a little bit faster off the face. 178 in the air, 5.4 on the spin and 45 on the descent. What are we up to? I don't want to stop hitting. This is the last shot. What a shame. Yeah, nice again. And that didn't even feel like it was absolutely flushed, but it was pretty good. It was maybe like an 8 out of 10. It just felt really nice again, felt soft. 178, 190 and 5.6 on the spin and 47-degree descent. So the most amazing thing about this actually is how little I've had to edit out of this. That is the best, cleanest run, best set of swings I've done in a while, and it shows it can be done. There's no need to get in a sweaty mess every time. Just relax and hit the shot. But this has been really enjoyable to hit this Elite. Right, so now I'm genuinely interested to see the figures. Okay, so first look at the figures, and with the ping we got 120 ball speed and 121 on the Callaway. What was the club head speed? Well, the overall club head speed was a tiny bit faster on the Callaway, 85 to 84, so that possibly explains the ball speed. But I don't know, it felt like it was just swinging exactly the same, to be honest. 143 on the smash, both the same. Launch 18 degrees, so that's ties in with the lofts being the same. 5.292 on the spin on the ping and 5.376, so a tiny bit more, but not enough to write home about or note, really. Pretty much the same. 176 carry on the ping and 178 on the Callaway. That was kind of what I was feeling, like it was just fractionally longer. So that's impressive. And 189, total 191. I know a lot of you think that's absolute nonsense, but it kind of works out here. That's what I go by when I laser my distances, is the full distance, because I know it's going to release like that. Anyway, that's irrelevant. So 45 descent on the ping and 46 on the Callaway, which is better again, slightly steeper descent angle. So, I mean, it's a narrow victory in terms of actual performance for the Callaway there, which is impressive as well. But you might expect that with it being fully in the game improvement category, that it would be better in terms of physical numbers if the lofts were the same. But the thing is, genuinely, I think that Callaway felt slightly softer than the ping. Now, I don't know if they've got a patent on these microspheres and they've bought up the world's supply of it, whatever it's made of, but they're gonna save themselves a bit of money because they're not gonna have to put forged faces on things from now on. Just ram a load of microspheres into every club they make, Callaway, and you can do away with forged, because it genuinely feels fractionally softer than the I530, which has a forged face insert. And the whole of this head is 17.4 stainless steel in the Callaway. So that is a miracle of science as far as I'm concerned. And it's a very easy test to say what one you should go for, because you're spending £250 less for a slightly softer feeling club. It goes a little bit further, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's more forgiving as well, because it's basically designed as a game improvement club, whereas players' distance irons generally wouldn't have quite as much forgiveness as, say, you know, a G440 would over an I530. I've done a test on that as well, by the way. Can't even remember what happened in it, to be honest. I'll have to watch it myself. So yes, that's me. I'm finished. Really impressed with this Callaway, and I think that might be the final test for it. I think I've done it enough now. It's just whether I actually want to buy a set now. Don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing what the other clubs in the set look like, whether it's progressive, offset, or whether they're all the same. But it's an impressive club, and you should certainly have a look at it, even if you're in the player's distance market. So that'll do me for today. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments and I'll get back to you. And just to say thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.